is even the universities don't have the money. That Apple is now worth $3 trillion. Do you think Apple has more data than a lot of universities that have brilliant research professors?
Yes, they have all their brilliant professors' information because they have all the information in the world.
Well, they have a lot of information on users, don't they, right? Every time we use an Apple product, even if we say, don't use this, no, I don't want to volunteer for that, no, I don't want you tracking me, you know, everybody knows what I'm talking about in a phone, right? Yeah. I don't want to be tracked, I don't want to share my data, I don't want to be a participant in the survey, and imagine everybody turns off and says, no, I'm not sharing this, right? But there's still, somewhere along the way, there's still metrics going on, even if we turned them all off. Somebody's following us and collecting this data. Google's collecting this data, Microsoft is collecting this data, Apple's collecting this data, right? So we don't have access to it. So I want you to think about the ethics involved in all that. But it all comes back to one thing. It's about the individual. It's about how you move through your life, thinking and applying common sense, learning, how you learn along the way, how you collaborate with others, picking out the right friends to work with, right? Building new partnerships and relationships, even if they're not going to be your best, quote unquote, real friends, right, in sense, but they're going to be your friends to help you on a project that's going to help society going forward. So I want all of you to think about this year working on a simple project. It could lead to a product. It could be the beginning of a nonprofit. A lot of high school students create nonprofits to help others, okay? It could be a tutoring nonprofit. It could be a clothing nonprofit. It could be a food nonprofit, right? It could be, you know, let's figure out how to keep a circular economy going with waste, that whole waste, you know, line we saw with this whole circular economy. Think about something. I want you to find something, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be something that's going to make you famous. I want you to take away something this year, okay? And I want you guys to keep me informed about it and say, I decided to do this that helps meet the 17 UN SDGs, that looks at utilizing common sense, that I didn't rely on ChatGPT to do this because obviously you can't even figure out how many liters should go in a 6-liter jug, right, at the end of the day. And we shouldn't use paper clips to kill people. I mean, I find it almost ironically funny, but it's scary because, you know, they can be very dark. But just find a project and contribute to the world around you. And it doesn't have to be something that makes you famous or changes the globe in and of itself. It could be. And I think each one of you have the potential in here to unlock enormous opportunities and innovations. So thank you for listening to me over the last 10 days. I hope this lecture tonight, while it's late, brought some, you know, ideas together of the individuals we heard present, whether it was Dr. Hoffman, whether it was James, whether it was you know, anybody else that you listened to, Larry along the way, you know, Jesus, Jacob, Dr. Ann, myself, Morgan, Cameron, and anybody else you may have met along the way, whether it's Leaveview or whatever. I want to thank all of you, and I appreciate it, and I hope that this has been a helpful, you know, conversation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Steve.